Hey everyone, I'm here today with M.E. Young, and she just wrote a wonderful new book called Naked Seeds. We've known each other for about 10 years, and I'm really excited. And I wrote the foreword to the book, so I'm a believer in it. So, M.E., tell us, what is the book about?
Well, it's stories from my life and things like when I was a child, I was told that my feelings were too big. I should be quiet with the neighbors and the family members. I was too much. I was a young nun, entered the convent at 17, and I was told that after a few years that my leadership with the music was threatening, so they kicked me out. As a lesbian, I was told that my desires were wrong in general in society, so I hid myself and kept very private. As a family planning center administrator in a very conservative Indiana city, I was told my work was criminal, seen as criminals at the time. As a writer, an artist, an integrative massage therapist, I listened to my inner guidance, and finally I gave voice to all that I was at the time and brought that to the world, mostly as a healer with individuals, also teaching some classes in colleges there. So, you know, if you're tired, as I became, of behaving a certain way as a woman in the name of belonging because you want to be part of things, then I feel like my book would really, I have songs, poems, sermons, and individual stories from pretty much all of my life. And they might inspire you to tell your stories because telling helps us heal. So,
I love it. And yeah, and so spanning from 17 and before all the way to now. And tell us why
yeah.
it's called Naked Seeds.
Well, seeds, I think of Jesus as planting seeds, really, his words, seeds of new ideas and how to care for people and all of that. And of course, in a sense, I was married to Jesus. So
Right.
for a few years, and in a way, always just admired what he was doing. But my grandfather was a farmer too, and my mother loved gardening and seeds. I just, I love feeling the soil myself, even though I don't have a garden. But anything we say can become a seed. Any story we tell that reaches somebody, even in a conversation in a coffee house or something, uh, sometimes opens up the other person to suddenly have a voice, to be able, not because you intended it, but because there's an open-hearted conversation of acceptance that allows people to tell their truth. So for me, words are seeds. And so the
Mm.
words I put in the book are this combination, literally, of poems in the shape of trees or bushes. I asked for that, and lyrics to some of the songs, even that I wrote in the convent, because they represent that time in my life. So uh, every story, every poem, every lyric, whatever's in the book, or sermons too. I told some sermons. I gave some sermons at one church where I was a music director. And they're pretty much about inclusivity. They're very much in the line of loving as Jesus did, and about women's rights, about lesbian rights. That they're interwoven into that, but they are true stories from my life. So that's what seeds
And
are to me. Words, really.
I love it. I love it. And I know that there's some juicy parts in here that actually prevented you from getting published by your original publisher because
Ah, yes.
they were like, it's too racy. It's just too racy. Can you give people just a little hint of like what they can expect in there?
Well, one of the things I was trained in and learned to do before being administrator of an abortion clinic, because it was also about helping women understand sexuality and listening with open heartedness to their stories. I have a section in the book or a few places, and even in stories from my own life, where I share about sexuality, about how can we have there's a sort of a self-help section of how can we come to a sexual relationship with more awareness, more really honoring what I want in a relationship with you, kind of thing, and not just sort of being satisfied with whatever somebody gives you. So there's actually, there are words in there that respectfully sexual about relationships and
Yeah.
sexual relationships. And I felt that was important because so many of the reasons for women having to choose abortion in my few years at that clinic had to do with ignorance and not being able to say no and not being able to understand what they would like in a sexual relationship. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And there's also, there's a little bit of like fun, salacious, and I don't mean salacious in a bad way, but like there's some fun advice giving about
Yes,
a
yes.
relationship, about naked relationships. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that's true. I didn't actually say that, but that's part of what we have to be willing to teach children, or teach
Yeah.
people, particularly young women, so that they're not just having sex and with no knowledge of their bodies, no knowledge of what they want, and of any age, frankly, and
Right.
not just
Yeah,
women,
actually.
but men also, and it's just sort of assumed we're supposed to know. So yes, I do give some, I think lovely, but also, what do I have to say? You say salacious. I don't know what the word is. It should be sexy,
Straightforward,
right? If you're
perhaps.
going to have
Yeah.
sex, it could be fun. It could be sexy.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
but it's not like the gray books or whatever. uh, it's just a hint to suggest that you can do that. You can speak for yourself and make it fun and make it lovely, make it sexy in
Yes.
words and in person. So
I mean, enough that the original publisher was like, you can't do it like this. So I'm so glad that you turned them down and then published it exactly the way that you want to, which is brilliant. Well, why did you write the book now?
I've handwritten in journals. I have, even in my apartment now, over 100 hardbound journals. I've always loved writing, and I've taken some writing courses over the years and so on. But I think at heart, I think of a teacher, not in the traditional in school, in college kind of sense, but I love sharing things that help people, or listen to people and offer whatever comes in conversation that might be useful. So it's just a part of me. And so I wanted to share my life stories, because I can't really tell other people what to do. That doesn't make sense, but I can share my stories. And so I've always wanted to do a book that I could read out loud to them and hold it in my hand, or that they could have to take with them. So it's always been there. And for whatever reason, it took me a very long time. So here I am at 76 years old. I wish that I was a little younger. It would have been easier, but the words, the stories were always there. For me, the hard part was learning how to publish. But I had great mentors and assistants with that, with Meg Calvin and formatter and other people involved, but particularly Meg Calvin, who was coach and helped me bring it to publication and fruition, or helped me birth it.
Awesome.
And
you
also.
Okay, a tiny little role way back when, but I'm also imagining it would have been so easy to said like, no, what's the point? So I'm, like this is, at this stage in your life, you're acting like your name, you're acting young, writing books, getting published. I love it.
Well, to be honest, that's one of the reasons I like that name, my pen name, because we can, just like my grandfather, here I am in my age, he lived to be 95, but I remember my stories. I remember my life stories, and I remember what they meant to me. And when I would tell them to people, just tell people in conversations through these years of my life, it almost always seemed to be interesting or help them, or they were surprised, because I've done a lot of different things in my life. Nothing famous, but just a lot of different things, a lot of different jobs, a lot of different groups of people. So there was always this sense that it was helpful to them. And I like holding a book in my hand too, but there is it makes me feel young and playful, and reminds me of a lifetime of things that hard things and good things and choices I made. But again, it's that love of writing and love of stories. And I wanted to hold a book in my hand.
Yeah, with your name on it.
With my name on it, and I wanted to read to people, if they would like that. So it's just always been something I'd like to do.
Well, who should pick up the book? Who's going to benefit from this?
It's funny, but there's some people who surprised me with how it benefited them. I have to say, I was a little nervous. I mean, I'm talking about sex education on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm talking about Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And anyway, there's a wide range of things in there that could disturb people. But what I found so far is that whether it's about being silenced as a child in a family situation, or pondering whether or not to stay with the particular religion you started with, or whatever people are kind of hassling with that I don't even know about. The feedback I've had so far is that that they had similar experiences, like being silenced in the church or silenced in the as a child, or in their adult lives, that they're struggling with how to be part of a community, a faith community, or how do they heal the wounds of being silenced also. So they feel heard. The feedback I get is they feel heard by the stories I tell, and it makes them think that maybe they can work through things. So I don't know if I'm exactly answering that question, but it's been very interesting, surprising, and uplifting that the book is doing what I would like. I want people to just tell their stories and feel that they can heal. That's the main thing. I think telling in safe places does help us to heal.
And I'll tell people where the book is trending. We just looked at this. Yeah, so it's trending on Amazon in LGBTQ plus political issues, in Catholicism self-help, and in biographies of Catholicism. And the book is not just limited to that at all. But if any of those piqued your interest, this book just may be for you. I love the wide variety there.
It was strange to me because I don't remember saying too much about the Catholic Church, but
you were none, yeah.
That was a nun. I was brought up in that, and so it's part of my story, and it's part of the challenge of healing in my life as well. So, I'm glad I did it, and it's exciting to me to hear people are being helped by it.
Well, we'll be looking for part 2. So this is amazing. Thanks for being here. We'll put the links below so everyone can buy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, and thank you for writing the foreword to my book.
Oh yes, it's my pleasure.
And being so supportive. Yes. Blessings.
Blessings.